The notification appeared on my laptop at 2:47 p.m. Ryan Mitchell, employment status terminated, effective immediately. Security will escort you out post-meeting. 8 executives from Global Dynamics sat across the mahogany table, focused on my pitch. The room was silent except for my voice and the soft click of pens. No one else saw what I saw. My heart pounded, but I didn't flinch. I kept going, calmly detailing the implementation timeline for the $35 million contract I'd spent 18 months building from scratch. Phase 3 deployment begins in Q2, delivering a 31% increase in operational efficiency, I said, steady and professional. 18 months of relationship building, countless strategy sessions, weeks of custom proposals, all erased by one line of text while I stood there delivering the biggest deal of my career. I'm Ryan Mitchell, 47 years old, and this is how I lost my job in one sentence and how Pinnacle Systems lost millions. At 47, after 15 years climbing the corporate ladder and 8 years at Pinnacle Systems as VP of Business Development, they decided I was expendable. What they didn't count on was my Navy training. 6 years on destroyers in the Persian Gulf teaches you things civilian corporate types never learn. You always have contingency plans. You never trust that the people above you have your back, and you always prepare for the unexpected. My wife Jennifer and I have been married 22 years. We met when I was 25, fresh out of the Navy and starting my first corporate job. She knew the military had shaped me, the discipline, the strategic thinking, the ability to stay calm under fire. Our son Jordan is 15 now, looking at colleges that cost more per year than I made as a young sailor. Our daughter Madison is 12, just starting middle school with all the expenses that come with it. At 47, with a mortgage on a house in suburbia and 2 kids counting on me, you don't just bounce back from losing a VP-level position. The job market isn't kind to guys my age. 3 months earlier, Bradley Crawford, VP of Strategy at 55, had asked me to design a complete restructuring of client services. "You understand the landscape better than anyone," he said, leaning back in his leather chair. "We need someone with your experience to map this out properly." I spent 6 weeks crafting a 127-page strategic plan, workflows, personnel assignments, contingencies, implementation timelines spanning 3 years. It was comprehensive work, drawing on everything I'd learned in 15 years of corporate climbing and the systematic approach the Navy had drilled into me. When I handed it to Bradley, he called it exceptional. "This is exactly what we needed," he said, flipping through the detailed sections. "The board is going to love this level of thinking." 5 days later, Adrian Walsh, a newly hired director with polished confidence and MBA credentials from Wharton, was presenting my work as his own at an all-hands meeting. My name was gone. In its place, strategic framework developed by Adrian Walsh. The guy was 38, sharp suit, perfect hair, and the kind of smooth confidence that impresses people who don't look too closely. He caught my eye during the presentation and smirked. I gave nothing away, just nodded like it was news to me, while colleagues praised his vision. Bradley looked proud, like he'd discovered the next corporate superstar. That night, sitting in my home office while Jennifer helped Madison with homework downstairs, I created a folder on my personal cloud. Apex Strategic Solutions. Just a placeholder at first. Screenshots, timestamps, email threads, access logs, everything documenting the theft. In the Navy, we called it covering your 6. I didn't know what Apex would become. I just knew I needed protection. The signs grew clearer over the following weeks. Sudden removal from email chains I'd been on for months. Editing rights revoked on shared documents. Leadership roles on key accounts quietly reassigned. Then came Connor, my former trainee, fresh out of grad school with his business degree and eager ambition. He was being positioned to take over my accounts. "We'd like Connor to shadow you on Global Dynamics," my manager said casually during what seemed like a routine check-in. "Bradley thinks he needs exposure to high-value clients." "Sure," I replied, keeping my voice neutral. "He's sharp, learns fast." What I didn't say was, I knew this wasn't mentorship. It was succession planning. In the military, you learn to read between the lines of what commanders tell you versus what they're actually planning. Connor was good at his job, I'll give him that. Harvard MBA, parents who'd funded his education without him working a day during college. He had theories about client management that sounded impressive in conference rooms but lacked the hard-won experience of actually managing relationships through economic downturns, industry changes, and the messy reality of long-term business partnerships. The final confirmation came when HR called a role assessment. Nicole Parker, the HR director with her practiced corporate smile, sat across from me with a folder bearing my name. "Standard procedure during restructuring," she said, not quite making eye contact. "We're reviewing all positions to ensure optimal alignment with company direction." "Is everyone being reviewed?" I asked. "Of course." Her fingers drummed nervously on the table. "Has Adrian's role been assessed?" A flicker of discomfort crossed her face. "Executive roles follow a different process." I nodded politely, but the message was crystal clear. Translation: I was being prepped for termination while the credit thief who'd stolen my work was being fast-tracked for promotion. That evening, I activated the next phase of my contingency plan. Jennifer was in the kitchen helping Madison with her science project, something about molecular structures that reminded me of the systematic approach we used for damage control assessments on ship. Jordan was upstairs, probably on his laptop researching colleges we'd somehow need to afford. "How was work?" Jennifer asked, looking up from the baking soda volcano Madison was constructing. "Interesting," I replied, which was Navy speak for things are about to get complicated. She knew that tone. After 22 years of marriage, she could read the signs when I was preparing for battle. Using contract terms I'd helped draft, terms that allowed employees to retain their own work for portfolio use, I began systematically backing up everything that was legitimately mine. Strategic frameworks I'd developed over years of client work, analytical models I'd created, methodologies that came from my own experience in education. No client data, no proprietary company information, just my intellectual fingerprint. The key was understanding the difference between company assets and personal professional development. My strategic planning approach? That came from combining Navy operational planning with business school theory and 15 years of real-world experience. My client relationship methodology? Developed through trial and error, success and failure, long before Pinnacle existed. These weren't company secrets. They were my professional toolkit. I also reached out to 2 former colleagues who'd left Pinnacle on good terms. Ashley worked in compliance at a mid-sized consulting firm downtown, and Lucas had moved to finance at a startup that was doing well. We met at a quiet restaurant far from Pinnacle's usual haunts. "I'm building something independent," I told them over dinner. "Something that could stand on its own if the right opportunity presented itself." Ashley, always the careful one, hesitated. "Are you asking us to compete with Pinnacle?" "Not yet," I said. "Just preparing options within my legal rights. Building a framework for possibilities." Lucas smiled knowingly. He'd been through a corporate restructuring before. "You're expecting them to push you out." "I'm preparing for various scenarios," I replied. "In the Navy, we called it operational readiness. You hope you never need your emergency protocols, but you're ready if you do." The conversation shifted to practical considerations. Ashley had maintained relationships throughout the compliance community. Lucas understood the financial mechanics of small business operations. Both were professionally restless in their current roles, looking for something more meaningful than corporate bureaucracy. "If this becomes real," Ashley said carefully, "what would it look like?" "A strategic consulting firm focused on client outcomes rather than internal politics," I replied. "Small enough to be agile, experienced enough to handle complex implementations. The kind of place where good work gets recognized and credited properly." By the time we finished dinner, I had the beginnings of a team, not committed yet, but interested, not jumping ship, but keeping their options open. Back home, Jordan was in the living room working on college applications. The kid was smart, 3.8 GPA, decent SAT scores, the kind of student who could get into a good state school with some scholarship help. But the really good schools, the ones that would open doors for his future, those cost more than our mortgage payment. "Dad," he said, looking up from his laptop, "how important is it really to go to an expensive college? I mean, you did fine with your state school degree. Smart kid." He was picking up on the financial stress even though Jennifer and I tried not to discuss it in front of him and Madison. "Education is important," I told him, "but it's not just about the name on the diploma, it's about what you learn and how you apply it." I sat down next to him. "You know I spent 6 years in the Navy before college, right? That taught me things no classroom ever could. Leadership, crisis management, working under pressure. Sometimes the most valuable education comes from unexpected places." He nodded thoughtfully. "Are you saying college isn't important?" I'm saying there are many paths to success. The expensive school might open some doors, but it's what you do once you walk through them that matters. I paused, thinking about my current situation. Sometimes the path you planned gets disrupted, and you have to find a different way forward. The next morning brought the Global Dynamics presentation. By then, Apex Strategic Solutions was no longer just a folder on my computer. It had legal registration, a business bank account, and an operational framework ready to activate. Not because I was planning to leave, but because I'd learned to prepare for possibilities. Jennifer packed my presentation materials that morning like she had hundreds of times before. "Big day?" she asked. "Could be," I replied, adjusting my tie. 18 months of work comes down to the next few hours. She kissed me goodbye. "You'll do great. You always do." If she noticed the subtle tension in my voice, she didn't mention it. Jennifer had been a Navy wife for 6 years, then a corporate wife for 15 more. She knew when to ask questions and when to simply provide support. The Global Dynamics contract represented everything I'd learned about strategic client management. The industrial giant needed a complete overhaul of their customer relationship management system across 14 countries, a complex transformation that required deep understanding of both technology and human behavior. I'd personally shaped this opportunity over 18 months of relationship building. Not just meetings and proposals, but understanding their corporate culture, their decision-making process, their long-term strategic goals. Hunter Stevens, their CTO, trusted me because I'd taken time to understand their business rather than just pitch solutions. When I arrived at Pinnacle for the final presentation, something felt different. Adrian was in the prep room, quietly observing. He'd never attended a Global Dynamics meeting before. His presence felt like a vulture circling overhead. "Bradley wanted me to observe," he said with that practiced MBA smile. "For continuity purposes." "Continuity? Corporate speak for we're planning to proceed without you," I nodded professionally. "Good to have you here, but inside my Navy training was sending up red flags. In the military, when commanders start talking about continuity plans, it usually means they expect casualties. The question was whether I'd be a casualty or a survivor. The presentation began at 10 a.m. sharp. 8 Global Dynamics executives around a polished conference table, all focused on the solution I'd crafted specifically for their needs. I knew every slide, every number, every potential objection and response. Then on slide 12, discussing implementation timelines, the notification flashed across my screen. Employment status terminated, effective immediately. I finished the pitch with the same composure I'd learned standing watch on a destroyer in the Persian Gulf. 23 more slides about implementation phases, cost projections, and success metrics. Hunter Stevens and his team were nodding at the right moments, asking thoughtful questions, clearly impressed with the comprehensive approach. "The timeline is aggressive but achievable," I concluded, closing my laptop with precision. "Thank you for your time and consideration." I shook hands around the table, thanked everyone professionally, and walked out with my dignity intact. Adrian followed me into the hallway, his expression carefully neutral. "Ryan, I'm sorry about—" "Don't," I said quietly. "Just don't." 20 minutes later, I was sitting in a small office suite I'd leased under Apex Strategic Solutions. Ashley and Lucas were already there, having received my phase active text message. The space was modest but professional. Half a floor in a business complex downtown, efficiently furnished with clean lines and modern technology. "They actually did it," Lucas said, shaking his head. "During the Global Dynamics pitch?" "Mid-presentation," I confirmed. Slide 12 of 35. 12 of... Ashley looked stunned. "They fired you while you were closing a $35 million deal. That's corporate suicide. It's going to cost them more than they realize," I replied. Within 2 hours, Apex shifted from blueprint to operational business. We weren't starting from scratch. We were flipping switches on systems I'd built quietly over the previous months. Legal registration, business banking, basic infrastructure, all ready to go. The military teaches you that preparation prevents poor performance. While Pinnacle thought they were eliminating a problem employee, they'd actually activated a carefully planned exit strategy. Meanwhile, cracks were already appearing at Pinnacle. Hunter Stevens emailed Bradley within hours. "We were impressed with Ryan Mitchell's presentation. Please confirm he'll be leading the implementation phase." Bradley's reply was polished corporate language. "Adrian Walsh will be your primary contact moving forward. He'll ensure seamless execution of the strategic framework. Hunter's response was immediate and direct. We specifically want to work with Ryan Mitchell. His understanding of our needs has been the primary factor in our willingness to move forward. I learned about this exchange through contacts still inside Pinnacle. The message was clear. The company had fundamentally misunderstood what they were selling. They thought they were selling a solution, but the client was buying a relationship. When Global Dynamics postponed their signing meeting, citing internal review requirements, everyone at Pinnacle knew what it really meant. The deal was falling apart. While Pinnacle scrambled to salvage the situation, I sent Hunter a brief professional email. I'm no longer with Pinnacle Systems. If Apex Strategic Solutions can be of assistance in the future, I'd welcome the opportunity to discuss your needs. No complaints about my treatment, no criticism of my former employer. Just a clean, professional notification and an open door for future collaboration. Hunter's response came 30 minutes later, not to me, but directly to Pinnacle's executive team. We're suspending all contract discussions pending reassessment of our partnership options. The panic at Pinnacle was immediate. Bradley convened emergency meetings. Adrian suddenly became the point person for crisis management, tasked with salvaging a relationship he'd never built and didn't understand. They offered price reductions, additional services, expedited timelines, everything except the one thing Global Dynamics actually wanted: continuity with the person who'd invested 18 months in understanding their business. For 2 weeks, Hunter's team gave polite delays and requests for additional information. Then he called Apex directly. "I'll be straightforward, Ryan," he said once we were seated in our modest but professional conference room. "We've invested significant time and resources in this project, and your understanding of our requirements has been the primary reason we were prepared to move forward." I nodded but stayed silent, letting him continue. "What happened with Pinnacle? Why would they remove you from our account without transition or even notification?" "Pinnacle is going through internal restructuring," I replied carefully. "They made personnel decisions they felt were appropriate for their long-term strategy." Hunter studied me for a moment. "That's a diplomatic answer." I smiled slightly. I prefer focusing on what's ahead rather than relitigating what's behind. I explained Apex's approach. Strategic consulting focused on deep client understanding, customized solutions, and flawless execution. Small enough to be agile, experienced enough to handle complex implementations. No corporate politics, no credit stealing, no sudden personnel changes in the middle of critical projects. "Can you handle a project of our scale?" Hunter asked the obvious question. "We have the expertise and frameworks ready," I assured him. "We're structured to scale resources as needed. What we don't compromise on is strategic oversight and direct accountability." What I didn't say, what I didn't need to say, was that Apex could deliver exactly what I'd promised Global Dynamics in my Pinnacle presentation. The intellectual architecture behind that proposal had come from my experience and methodology, not from Pinnacle's corporate systems. 3 days later, Global Dynamics officially terminated all discussions with Pinnacle and requested a formal proposal from Apex Strategic Solutions. The impact on Pinnacle was devastating. A $35 million deal, 18 months in development, lost because they'd fired the wrong person at the wrong time. Bradley called me that evening, his voice tight with barely controlled anger. "What did you do, Ryan?" he demanded. "Did you poison them against us?" "I informed them of my employment status change," I replied calmly. "Nothing more. They made their own decisions based on that information. You stole our client. They were never your client, Bradley. They were considering a partnership. They chose to work with the person they trusted to deliver results. We'll pursue this legally," he threatened. "Your employment contract has non-compete clauses, which apply to existing clients, not prospective ones," I countered. "I helped draft those clauses, remember? I know exactly what they cover and what they don't." The silence on the line told me he'd realized the trap. Pinnacle's own legal framework, which I'd helped create, had provided the very pathway I was now using. "This isn't over," he said finally. "For me, it is," I replied and ended the call. But it was just beginning. The Global Dynamics contract was significant, but it was only the foundation. Within 6 weeks, 2 other major prospects I'd been cultivating approached Apex directly. Like Global Dynamics, these prospects were more interested in working with the strategists they'd built relationships with than with a corporate logo. Relationships I'd cultivated over months of careful consultation, understanding their unique challenges, and developing tailored approaches to their problems. Meanwhile, Pinnacle was experiencing what the Navy would call cascading system failures. Without my ongoing relationship management, existing accounts were becoming less engaged, less responsive to proposals, less willing to expand their partnerships. Inside the company, rumors about my departure spread. Some employees thought I'd been recruited by a major competitor. Others assumed I'd resigned over strategic differences with leadership. Nobody seemed to know I'd been fired during the biggest presentation of the fiscal year, but everyone felt the impact of my absence. Connor, the Harvard MBA positioned as my replacement, was struggling under pressure he wasn't equipped to handle. Academic theories about client management work differently when you're facing a frustrated CTO who's questioning every aspect of a million-dollar implementation. All those case studies don't prepare you for the moment when a long-term client asks pointed questions about why their trusted contact suddenly vanished. Adrian, despite his Wharton credentials and polished presentation skills, lacked the deep industry understanding that comes from years of actually managing relationships through economic downturns, regulatory changes, and the messy reality of complex business partnerships. He could talk strategy brilliantly in conference rooms, but when clients needed substantive answers about operational challenges, his responses sounded more like consulting buzzwords than practical solutions. At home, the financial pressure was real but manageable. Jennifer and I had always been careful with money, a habit from our early Navy years when every dollar counted. We sat down one evening after the kids were in bed to review our situation. "The severance will cover us for 3 months," she said, reviewing our spreadsheet. "But Jordan's college applications are due soon, and we need to be realistic about what we can afford." "Apex is already generating revenue," I told her. "The Global Dynamics contract alone will cover our basic expenses. If the other prospects convert, we'll be ahead of where I was at Pinnacle within 6 months." She looked at me with the expression I'd seen many times over 22 years, part concern, part admiration for my ability to land on my feet. "Are you sure about this? Starting over at 47 isn't the same as starting over at 25. "I'm not starting over," I replied. "I'm finally building something that reflects what I've learned." 4 months after my termination, Pinnacle lost another major account, not to Apex, but to a different competitor. The client's stated reason was changes in strategic support and account management consistency. 2 weeks later, a third long-term partnership announced they were exploring alternative options for their consulting needs. The dominoes were falling, not because I was actively undermining Pinnacle, but because the company had removed the person who'd been maintaining the relationships that held their client portfolio together. Apex, meanwhile, was growing with careful precision. We hired selectively, experienced professionals who shared our commitment to strategic excellence and client-focused solutions. Ashley brought her compliance expertise and industry network. Lucas handled our financial operations with the efficiency he'd learned in startup environments. Our reputation spread through word of mouth rather than marketing campaigns. Global Dynamics transformation was proceeding ahead of schedule and under budget, which generated referrals from their industry contacts. The logistics company we'd won in direct competition with Pinnacle became another success story, leading to additional opportunities in their sector. 8 months after my termination, Apex and Pinnacle found themselves competing directly for a significant manufacturing client seeking to modernize their entire customer engagement platform. It was the kind of high-visibility project that could establish Apex as a legitimate competitor rather than just a boutique consulting firm. The client scheduled final presentations for the same afternoon. Pinnacle sent Adrian, now promoted to VP of Strategic Services, along with a team of 5 specialists. Apex sent me, Ashley, and our newly hired operations director. We presented second, walking into the conference room just as the Pinnacle team was packing up. Adrian's eyes met mine briefly in the hallway. His confident smile wavered for just a moment before he recovered and offered a professional nod. I returned it and continued into the room without breaking stride. Our presentation was everything Pinnacle's wasn't, focused on practical solutions rather than impressive-sounding theories, precisely aligned with the client's stated needs rather than showcasing our capabilities, substantive rather than flashy. We didn't overwhelm them with buzzwords or corporate jargon. We simply demonstrated that we understood their challenges and had proven frameworks for addressing them. We won the account. Not because of any lingering resentment toward Pinnacle, but because Apex was better positioned to deliver what this particular client needed. The contract award sent shockwaves through Pinnacle's leadership. Losing Global Dynamics had been explained away as an isolated incident. Losing to Apex in direct competition was different. It was a market judgment on the relative value of the two companies. 11 months after my termination, the inevitable finally happened. Pinnacle's board called an emergency meeting and voted to remove Bradley as VP of Strategy. The official statement cited strategic realignment and leadership changes, but the financial data told the real story. Client retention had dropped 28%. New business acquisition was down 43%. The company's market position had deteriorated to levels not seen since the 2008 recession. Adrian left shortly afterward. No announcement, no farewell email to staff. Just another executive quietly transitioning to pursue other opportunities. 1 year to the day after that termination notification appeared on my screen, I walked into Apex's expanded headquarters. We'd outgrown our original space and moved to a full floor in a downtown business complex. Professional but not ostentatious, efficient but comfortable. The kind of environment that reflected our values: substance over style, results over rhetoric. Apex now employed 22 people, including 8 former Pinnacle staff who joined us seeking a more merit-based work environment. Our revenue had reached $9 million in year 2, sustainable, profitable growth that any business consultant would respect. Standing in our reception area that morning, I thought about the journey. I'd never sought revenge against Pinnacle. I'd never publicly criticized them or revealed the circumstances of my departure. I'd simply built something better, a company that honored strategic thinking and client relationships rather than internal politics and credit theft. In the end, that approach was more effective than any direct retaliation could have been. When Pinnacle fired me mid-presentation, they didn't eliminate a problem employee. They created their most successful competitor. My name is Ryan Mitchell, founder and CEO of Apex Strategic Solutions, and this story is just our beginning. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't beating your enemies. It's building something so much better that their defeat becomes inevitable. When they tried to erase me, they only proved that the real value was never in their systems or their corporate structure. It was in the relationships, expertise, and integrity they thought they could discard with a single notification.